Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. How are you? If you're new, hello. If you're coming back, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jordan, and today we're going to be talking about Roe v. Wade and how that's going to be getting overturned, or they're trying to overturn Roe v. Wade. And I'm here to tell you all, everyone's rights is about to get taken away. Everyone's rights is about to get taken away. So, like a month ago, there was a leak that, someone leaked that, the Supreme Court is trying to overturn Roe v. Wade, which, all hell kind of broke loose when that happened. So I kind of just want to talk about like what that means, and how, this Roe v. Wade being overturned doesn't just affect cis women. It simply doesn't. This is going to affect a lot of people if they manage to overturn Roe v. Wade. So let's just talk about it. They're trying to overturn Roe v. Wade, and I just want to say, white women, step up. White women, step up, because y'all were the ones who voted in Trump and who were voting for Trump in the last election. Y'all were the ones who were voting in all these Republican politicians. So I want white women to step forward, because look what happened. Did you really not think these laws didn't pertain to you all? Or did you think it was just going to pertain to the darkies? Because this is just insane how a majority of white women were the ones who were voting for Trump, and who were voting for all the Republican lawmakers in Texas and Florida, Kentucky and Louisiana. Like, y'all were the ones who were voting for these people. Y'all were the majority of the people voting for them. And now you're on Twitter crying that you're going to be forced to have a baby if you were to get pregnant. And I'm here to tell you, boo fucking who. I'm here to tell you, boo fucking who. What did y'all expect? Is what I want to know. What did you all expect was going to happen? And then this is just going to, well, let's just start here. Roe v. Wade, if it does get overturned, is going to kill so many people. It's going to kill so many people. It's going to kill so many people. These Republicans and some of y'all others, y'all are so concerned about a clump of cells in the body. Not even a baby yet, it's a clump of cells. If you was to suck it out of the vagina, it'll just be a clump of blood. So y'all are more worried about a clump of cells growing in the body. But we just had a school shooting 3 days ago. Will the pro-life hive please stand up? Because what now? What now? Pro-life hive, please stand up. Because you guys want people to bring children into a world where housing is basically unaffordable unless you're rich. Everyone's rights is being taken away right now, or they're trying to take away everybody's rights right now. Cost of living, people can't even afford to support themselves, much less a child. And this is what I don't understand about the pro-life people. What I don't understand about you all is that you all will scream and cry and bitch and moan about a clump of cells in the body, but we don't ever see you volunteering at your local foster care center or adoption center. We don't see you advocating to put more money into the public school system. You guys are so pro-life for a clump of cells in the body. Yet some of y'all live in states where y'all have the worst literacy and math rates in the country. What is going on? Seriously, what is going on? You're pro-life, but you don't support Black Lives Matter. You're pro-life, but you don't understand the nuances, and you don't understand why Asian people are being targeted right now because of a virus that originated in a country where a lot of them aren't even from. Like, no, y'all don't understand that, but y'all want to keep bringing kids into this world, the world where we're going to pass the warming threshold in 10 years. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So, pro-life, but you don't want to put more education into school. You don't want to put more money into education. Pro-life, but you don't want to put more money into foster care systems. You're pro-life, but every time the United States needs to cut something, the first thing they want to cut is education. You're pro-life, but you don't want to volunteer, or you treat the homeless a certain kind of way. You're pro-life, and we had a school shooting 3 days ago. You don't care about kids. You don't. This has never been about children. Because if this was about children, we would have paid maternity leave. We would have more paid maternity leave. Like this isn't about kids. This just simply isn't about kids. This is about control. That is simply what this is about. It's about control. It's about control. And it's very, very scary, because in a lot of states, or in some of these states, they're talking about how they're going to deny you an abortion for an ectopic pregnancy. And for those of you who don't know what an ectopic pregnancy is, that's when the embryo attaches outside of the uterus. That's a basic gist of it. If you want like a detailed definition, doctors have YouTube pages, Google. But that's basically the gist of it. Like, the baby has implanted itself outside of the uterus. And for those of you who don't know, if that happens, if that embryo is planted and attaches itself to anything that's outside of the uterus, that baby's not coming out alive. And if you don't terminate a pregnancy of that magnitude, then the mother will die too. The mother will die too. You're over here attacking women who are going into Planned Parenthood centers. And for some of their pregnancies, no one's going to come out alive. But what I think people don't understand, I saw this on social media, and I had never really thought about this when talking and speaking about abortion. I never really thought about it. But a lot of people on Twitter are talking about how getting rid of abortions gets rid of the choice to choose to have a baby, to keep a baby. Because there were people talking about how, they were having a lot of complications very early in the pregnancy, and they were considering terminating their pregnancy in case, all hell broke loose, and they waited it out for a couple more weeks and everything turned out fine. And you want to not allow anyone who is 6 weeks or past that to get an abortion. Now you're taking away people's ability to choose to keep their baby. And then also with this abortion thing, once they're able to get rid of abortion, everybody in the LGBTQIA plus community is next. Trans rights, they're going to try and take those away. Gay rights, lesbian rights, they're going to try and take away all that. If you're a part of a marginalized community, if they're able to get rid of abortion, if they're going to overturn Roe v. Wade, you're next. You're next. And it's just so sick. And let's talk about Planned Parenthood for a second, because they're talking about Planned Parenthood in multiple states, or Republican majority states are trying to shut down Planned Parenthood. And I'm here to tell you all that this is just an assault on women, and it's just an assault on people with uteruses. Yes, I said people with uteruses, or people who have the ability to give birth. It is 2022. Cisgendered women are not the only people who can give birth anymore. Let's not be transphobic, not in my comment section. So, and you already, if you're going into Planned Parenthood for an abortion, which, by the way, if you didn't know, abortion only makes up like 2% of what Planned Parenthood does. Because Planned Parenthood exists in order to give people who don't have insurance access to adequate health care. That's the whole point of Planned Parenthood. And everyone seems to think that abortions is all Planned Parenthood does, when they only make up 2% of what they do. Some good tea right there. It only makes up 2% of what they do. I've seen people on social media say how they were just going in not to terminate a pregnancy, but they were going in for an appointment to make sure the baby was okay. And they're getting attacked by mobs outside of Planned Parenthoods. You're, again, so pro-life, but you're threatening pregnant women and other pregnant people who are just trying to go into Planned Parenthood to get a checkup. And you're threatening them, you're sending them death threats, and you're attacking them. You're putting your hands on these people. You're so pro-life, and yet you're going to attack someone who's pregnant? Are you serious? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Planned Parenthood only 2% is how much that abortions make up what Planned Parenthood does. And to get rid of Planned Parenthood is just an attack on not only women and birthing people's health, but it's an attack on healthcare in general. Because not everyone can afford to have health insurance. I'm so sorry. You have to have insurance for goddamn near everything nowadays. You have to have insurance for everything. I'm so sorry. Not everyone can afford health insurance. And to get rid of Planned Parenthood, is going to just kill so many people. And to overturn Roe v. Wade is going to kill so many people. And again, this is just about control over birthing bodies, over people who have the ability to give birth, and control over women. That's what this is all about. It's just about control. And then there is this book or article. I think it's a book from like way back in the 60s talking about how um in like 50 years from 1960, or like 70 something years from 1960, white people in America are going to be the minority, and in order to preserve a majority over in order for white people to preserve a majority, they have to force white women to give birth to babies, which means that they need to stop white women from getting abortion. Because it's I'm so sure it's not. I'm so sure it's white women that are making up most of the people who are getting abortions. And then when it comes to getting rid of abortions, you if you're black, I was going to talk about this because the mortality rate and the infancy mortality rate for black moms and children in America is 4 times higher than everybody else. It is 4 times higher than everybody else. And that's a whole nother video to discuss why black people don't like going to the doctor, and why black people don't want to access health care, and how, the history behind that. Which, by the way, if you want to know why black people don't want to go to the doctor, just look up like how gynecology got started. Just look up how gynecology got started. Okay? Getting rid of Roe v. Wade is just going to kill so many people, and I keep repeating that, but it's going to kill so many people. This is going to kill so many people, and it's the same people who are trying to get rid of abortions who are all for gun rights, and they're talking about how, getting rid of guns isn't going to stop people from getting guns illegally, but somehow they can't correlate that same logic with abortions, and how getting rid of abortions isn't going to stop abortions. It's just going to stop safe abortions in a medical environment. That's all it's going to do. So now you're going to probably have people trying to sneak off to other countries in order to get an abortion. You're going to have people try at-home methods to try and get an abortion. You're going to have people try and hurt themselves in order to give themselves an abortion. And then you're also going to have people, I don't think anyone's ever is talking about how this is going to make suicide rates just skyrocket, I think. Think of like rape victims. Think of, victims of sexual assault, victims of incest, and how a lot of them who are forced to carry a pregnancy end up killing themselves, or they end up harming their child. And I don't think anyone's really talking about that kind of possibility, that this is going to cause a lot of suicide rates just to skyrocket. No one's talking about that. No one's talking about that. This is insane. This is insane. And I said this in my last video about the Uvalde shooting. We, as the general public, I don't know what we're supposed to do, because politicians keep telling us to vote. And we voted. We have a supermajority in the government right now. And still, Roe v. Wade is about to get overturned. Oh, I think Josh is coming downstairs. Okay, we're good. For those of you who don't know, Josh is my brother. Yeah, people are going to die. People are going to die. And that's just the bottom line. People are going to die. Children are going to die. People who don't deserve to die are going to die. And I don't know what else we can do. I really don't. I don't know what else we can do. And what's really crazy is that majority of the country supports abortions. Like, it's a very, very, very loud minority that's about to overturn Roe v. Wade. And that's my problem with American politics, is how a very loud minority can just, like, fuck up everything for everybody else. Because most people in this country actually support abortion and support the rights of women and birthing persons. Like, come on. And yet Roe v. Wade is still about to be overturned, which we can't talk about this when I talk about the goddamn Supreme Court. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, whatever her name is, she fucked us. She fucked us. She did. I'm here to tell you, she fucked us. Knew she was dying. Knew she was getting too old to be in that goddamn chair, and she didn't want to give up her seat. Why? I'm so sorry, but like because now we're fucked. So I really don't care about being respectful right now, because now everybody else is fucked. You were dying. Why didn't you give up your seat on the Supreme Court and let somebody else who's a Democrat fill up that seat? Now I'm pretty sure Republicans have a majority in the Senate, and the Supreme Court. Just fucked us. And then how literally the last few months of Trump's presidency, how they rushed to get that white woman in there who doesn't know shit about American politics. And we just got our first black female, I think she's our first black female Supreme Court Justice, Ketanji Jackson. She was just in there, but I don't know what the hell she's going to be able to do if the majority is not on our side. I don't know what we're going to do. I really don't. Because everyone is so pro-life, yet there are schools around the country who don't have enough funding to fix their air conditioning in the hot of the summer and the fall. They're so pro-life, but adoption centers and foster care centers are crumbling to the ground as we speak. We're so pro-life, and yet infrastructure in America is horrible, which means that people cannot get to places they need to get to easily because public transportation in this country is so horrible. They are so pro-life, yet they just simply ignore the fact that black mothers are dying at 4 times the rate of everybody else. Latino mothers are dying at 2 times the rate of everybody else. They're so pro-life, but they are still trying to keep guns on the street after we've had a school shooting. None of this, what is happening, none of it is about kids. Because the moment you pop out the womb, you're on your own. Especially if you're a minority. None of this is about kids. This is about control. This is about control. And again, like, other than raise awareness and protest, what the fuck are we gonna do? We are really in some scary times right now. That's what I think. We are really in some scary times. Can't go to the grocery store without getting shot up. Can't go to school without getting shot up. Everyone's rights are about to be taken away. We're about to be thrusted back into the 18 goddamn hundreds. No one can afford to buy a house anymore, so the housing market is crashing. No one can afford to rent an apartment anymore, so everyone's becoming homeless. And that's the world you want to bring. You want people to bring their children into, their future kids into. A world where everything on the planet is dying because of the pollution that billionaires on their own and companies cause. Like in 30 years, Miami's not going to be underwater and New York's not going to be underwater. But that's the world we want to bring kids into. A world where you could send your kid to school just for them to never come home. You send your kid to school and the next time you see them, they're dead. That's what we want. That's what we want to bring our future kids into. That's the kind of world we want to bring our future kids into. And this also just brings into a problem of how being able to have kids is slowly becoming a privilege for rich people. You know, I don't think anyone's talking about how being able to become a parent is slowly becoming a privilege that only rich people can have. Because regular millennials are in their 30s and 40s talking about how they can't afford to rent at their parents' house. They can afford to rent an apartment without a roommate. They're spending $3,000 or $4,000 on an apartment, and because they're spending so much money on an apartment, they can't save money to put a down payment down for the house. How that makes no sense. How are you making $5,000 a month? So it's like, what, $60,000 a year? You're making $60,000 a year. And you can't even save enough money to put down a down payment on your house. Because because your rent is already half of your paycheck. Not to mention the other things you need to live, like food. And I'm so sorry. If you do not do fun stuff with your money, like buying nice things for yourself, going out on vacations and stuff, that's not living. No one can afford to even get a house anymore. And they're in these little shitty apartments that haven't been renovated since the goddamn 60s. Birth rates are at historic lows because of all the extra shit that's going on in the world. And you want people to bring kids into a world that's on fire right now. Well, that's it for me. Everything's going to hell. Everyone is going to hell because this is for fucking ridiculous. You know, this is for fucking ridiculous. This is for fucking ridiculous. I don't understand. I don't understand. Well, I understand. But at the same time, I don't understand. I understand why this is happening. It's about control. I still can't wrap my head around it. And I'm not even somebody who has the ability to give birth. And I know that this is fucked up. Which is another thing. You shouldn't have to be somebody with the ability to give birth. Which, again, cis women are not the only people who can give birth anymore. Let's not be transphobic. Not in my comment section. But, you know, I'm not even somebody who has the ability to give birth, and I know this is fucked up. And you shouldn't even be able, you shouldn't have to be a part of a marginalized community in order to understand what they go through. The world is burning, and people want other people to be forced to bring kids in. Because again, like, you're going to jail if you get an abortion. I didn't even talk about it. You're going to jail if you miscarry. Because now they're going to try and prove that you gave yourself an abortion, even though miscarriage is extremely common. I'm pretty sure it's like 1 in 4 women end up having a miscarriage at some point in their lives. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people who have miscarriages. 1 in 4 people who have the ability to give birth will have a miscarriage. And if you have one, instead of being able to process your grief and your trauma and process what happened to you and your family and everything, now you're going to be fighting for your life in court because they're going to try and make it seem like you gave yourself an abortion. Which actually has already happened. They've already put people in jail for having a miscarriage. And this is what happens when people who don't know anything about pregnancy and don't know anything about how a uterus works. This is what happens when people who don't know about that stuff make laws. And for all of the women who support this and all the people who have the ability to give birth who support getting rid of abortions, I hope y'all know that they mean you too. So if you ever have a dangerous pregnancy that needs to be terminated or you'll die and you can't get it, remember your decision, because I won't feel bad. I just simply won't feel bad. I'm sorry. Black mothers are dying at 4 times the rates that you guys are just off of racism. And now you want to add denied access to basic health care onto that. I don't care about being respectful. I don't. Latino mothers are dying at 2 times the rates of everybody else. And again, this isn't going to stop like rich people and the elite people in our society. They're going to still be able to get abortions. They're still going to be able, their mistresses, their wives, their daughters, they're all still going to be able to get abortions. Because all you got to do is pay a doctor a shitload of money to just not talk. So those people are still going to be able to get abortions, but for the regulars, you're shit out of luck. You're shit out of luck. Yeah. Everyone is going to hell. Because this is ridiculous. Pro-life. Kids don't have books to read in schools. Pro-life. But your state has some of the worst math scores in the country. Pro-life. But you're following black kids around grocery stores thinking they're going to steal. Pro-life. Yet the first thing you want to cut when it comes to funding is education. Pro-life. Yet you can't even send your child to school without them fearing that they're going to get shot down by some deranged person walking into their school. Pro-life. Yet black mothers are dying at 4 times the rates of everybody else, and Latino mothers are dying at 2 times the rates of everybody else. Pro-life, but you want people who can give birth to carry an ectopic pregnancy that's never going to come to term. A pregnancy that's going to not only kill the child, because the child's not going to come out alive, but it will also kill the mother. Pro-life, yet schools can't even afford to fix their air conditioning and heating in the summer and winter. You know, pro-life. And people are just dying from very preventable causes. Pro-life, yet the environment is a disaster right now. Air pollution is giving people cancer. Pro-life, yet an ER visit could set you back $5,000. Pro-life, but giving birth in a hospital can set you back $30,000. Pro-life while at the same time denying people who can't afford health insurance access to safe health care. They're so pro-life. And yet when you ask them about things like what I'm talking about, they don't have anything to say. Pro-life. And the world is slowly descending into hellfire. I'll say it once, I'll say it again. This isn't about kids. This isn't about making sure kids come out, because especially if the kid has a disability, especially if the kid is a part of a minority group, especially if that child comes out with a uterus, with their own uterus. The pro-life, but the moment the child comes out the womb, they're on their own. So that makes no sense to me. And again, to remind like what the title of this video says, everyone's rights. They're coming after everyone's rights. Because once Roe v. Wade gets overturned, every minority group in this country is next. And they've been planning this for decades. And Democrats are just sitting on their asses like, we need to do something. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Because I voted. We got you in office. We need to do something. You need to do something. I'm not the one that's in office right now. I'm not the one that's in office right now. We need to do something. We did. We voted. And I'm going to keep saying that shit until they stop talking about some goddamn we. We voted. We did our jobs. You're the one that's in office. You're the one that's an elected official. You're the one that's in the Senate. You're the one that's in the House of Representatives. You're the one that's the president and the vice president. This is re-fucking ridiculous. And if you are pro-life, at this point, I wish you nothing but the worst of hell. Because you're not getting sympathy from me. I'm tired. Like I said in my last video, I'm tired of seeing people die. And overturning Roe v. Wade is just going to kill so many people. And it's going to kill so many children. And it's going to kill people's ability to choose. Not only to choose to get an abortion, but to choose to not get an abortion. Anyway, that's the end of this video. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. Let's get this video into circulation so that, you know, the algorithm can pick it up, you know. Hopefully, I'll be able to start making videos on this channel that aren't so depressing and shitty. But so many people are going to die if Roe v. Wade gets overturned. And I just went very surface level. I didn't really get deep into the nitty gritty of it. If you want to get into the deep nitty gritty, the doctors have YouTube channels. Google's free. You can read the bill. I'm just, you know, going off of what I've read from the bill, what I know, what I've heard doctors say, what I've heard women say, what I've heard birthing persons say, you know, what I've heard trans people say. Go check out any of them if you want to get into a deep, nitty-gritty dive of Roe v. Wade. But the gist of it is that people are going to die, regardless. People are going to die if Roe v. Wade gets overturned. That's the gist. People are going to die. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. And again, hopefully the next video I make will be a bit more lighthearted. And with that, I will see you guys later. I'll figure out a goddamn schedule for this shit, because I don't know. I might just make videos just depending on how I feel for the first little bit. And then probably once I get into college, you know, because I go in the fall, I'll probably have a set schedule that I'll be forced to make because of my college schedule. So, but these videos don't take that long to like make and edit. The long part is just watching to make sure that like my video's not corrupted or anything. But like, yeah. Hopefully we can talk about music on this channel soon. And TV and anime. I got some fun stuff. I want to rant about The Sims. That'll be a fun video. And then leave some suggestions in the comments. And again, not all my videos are going to be like 40 minutes long. Not all of them are going to be this long. But, yeah. Okay, so I'll see you all later. Again, leave suggestions in the comments of what you want me to talk about. And if I have knowledge on it, or if I'm able to really just sit down and research, I'll talk about it. Until then, I will see you all later. And, yeah, that's it. Bye, y'all.